He came to see me. Dad, slow down on worrying about you because, boom, he knows that I spend time with my amateurs. You know me. Both of y'all know me very well.
Yeah.
Don't I spend time with my amateurs?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
Gervonta Davis just did what no one thought would ever happen. He cut ties with Calvin Ford. And not just that. He exploded on his former trainer during a live interview, making it clear that things between them are far from good. Let's catch you up.
I just hope that he can find peace because he's got a lot of pain in him. Do you know what I mean? Because no one who in their right mind would like continuously attack the people in the sport every week. I find it very entertaining, by the way, and I like it, but like
6 weeks ago, Davis was humming a different tune. I got Calvin marked on me. Calvin isn't going anywhere. Calvin pops, he isn't going anywhere, he said. But now the man who was always in his corner is out, and Davis is not holding back his feelings about it. Ford wasn't there for his fight against Lamont Roach, and the result was the first non-victory of Davis's career.
Exchanging in the pocket. I have a very good eye, very good defense. I'm able to counter and return shots, and I think that
for years we were used to seeing Ford and Kenny Ellis by Davis's side, much like Mike Tyson had D'Amato or Canelo. Alvarez has Eddie Reynoso. It was a team that seemed unbeatable, but instead of Ford, Barry Hunter was in Davis's corner for this fight, and that change isn't sitting well with a lot of people.
You know what I mean? Calvin ain't going nowhere. Y'all don't even know Calvin for CCO. I know Calvin, you know what I mean? I don't know. Calvin's pops. He ain't going nowhere.
Ford, however, is downplaying the problem. Speaking with Fight Hub TV, he says he's still part of the team, just from a different viewpoint. Davis is fighting under PBC's new partnership with Amazon Prime Video, and Ford is watching everything happen from the sidelines. According to him, it was just a short step back. He insists nothing important has changed and denies any falling out. No, he came to see me dead slow down and worried about you because boom, he knows that I spend time with my amateurs. Ford said, I spend time with my beginners all the time. That's my piece. He claims he just needed to focus on his younger fighters and trusted Davis to handle things on his own. And from his viewpoint, being apart only made their bond stronger.
Gervonta, when he was in the moment where he had to bring that dog out, he took a knee and he ran to the corner to get his face wiped. Calvin Ford, you got some explaining to do. You promised us a monster when he...
Barry Hunter, who stepped in for Ford, is also trying to calm the situation. Calvin will be there, Coach Barry will be there, Coach Boogie will be there, and Kenny will be there as well. He said he tells everyone that Ford and Ellis not being in Davis's corner isn't a big deal and reminds people that changes in Davis's team have happened before. Hunter has been around Davis since his amateur days, and he insists that everything is fine. But Tank's latest reaction to all this says otherwise.
Why you wouldn't pick it up? Right. And so I think it was maybe a lack of focus just for a little bit, and we'll fix that. But nevertheless, I think that made that fight a draw.
When faced with the topic during a live interview, he lost his cool. He struck out, making it clear that he isn't happy with the way things went down. Y'all keep asking me the same dumb stuff. Calvin's not here. He is not here, so stop asking about him, he snapped. Davis went on a full-blown rant about how he felt betrayed by Ford's silence. This actually comes after Tank himself tried to convince us that he was still in a close relationship with Ford, but we know how things go. We saw the same trend with Floyd, and deeper details only came to light after the split, so who knows what darker truths will come out with Ford too.
To do what he wanted to do. I said at the last press conference. Y'all gotta understand, them guys been doing it since they were little. This might energize them again. Oh yeah.
The fact that this happened on a live show made everything even more intense. Viewers saw the raw feeling from Davis, who wasn't holding anything back. It was a total contrast to the calm, dismissive tone Ford had taken in his interview. This wasn't just a mistake, it seems like it was personal, and the heat doesn't end there. Some inside sources claimed that the real reason Ford stepped back had nothing to do with focused on younger fighters. There are rumors of behind-the-scenes problems between Ford and Davis, possibly even financial disputes. Certain reports say that Ford wasn't happy with how Davis was handling his business decisions and felt he was being pushed aside.
Difference maker for him. You never know. I think, me personally, as a boxing fan, I think Calvin fits him the best. Knowing boxing inside and out, I think Calvin fits him the best. So, who knows?
Adding to the controversy, some fans and insiders believe this could be another case of a boxer outgrowing his longtime trainer. It's a pattern that has been seen before fighters reaching a certain level and deciding to move on. But in Tank's case, it's more complicated because of how close he and Ford were. The two were like family, and now they are publicly falling apart. Some are also pointing fingers at Tank's management team, wondering if they had a hand in this ever since splitting from Floyd Mayweather's promotional company. Tank has been trying to take full control of his career, but with that freedom comes new challenges. Did someone in his camp push Ford out? Is Davis making decisions that could hurt him in the long run?
What do you want to see? You, as a guy that's in his trainer, that's like a father figure to him, you're training him all the time, you know him, both y'all from the streets of Baltimore, the whole bit. Who do you want to see Tank fight next?
I want him to get all of them that ran their mouth.
Ford has been a mentor to Davis since his teenage years, guiding him from a troubled childhood to the top of the boxing world. But loyalty in boxing only lasts as long as success. Fighters often make hard business choices that can damage personal ties, and Ford, despite his calm words, might be feeling that sting more than he lets on. Meanwhile, Kenny Ellis has stayed quiet on the matter, not publicly addressing the situation. Some think he might be caught in the middle, not wanting to take sides with Hunter. Now stepping in, it raises questions about whether Ellis might also be on his way out. If Davis is cleaning house, no one in his corner is safe.
There you go. That's all you had to do.
While Ford stays diplomatic, Tank's outburst hints that the breakup is far from amicable. This isn't just about boxing. It's about trust, loyalty, and power. And the way things are playing out, it's clear that Davis isn't interested in sugarcoating his feelings. Some fans are already picking sides, with many backing Davis's right to make changes in his camp, while others argue that turning his back on Ford is a mistake, the mistake that might actually lead to his first official loss. Regardless of opinions, the split is official, and the effect is already being felt.
At least I know where he was at, because it was something that we didn't do. It's something that we normally do. Y'all with me? And it was good for us to tell you the truth, because when I stepped back in the head biggest game and I haven't been there, it brought back so much memory. When we first started off, and him saying all this working together.
But can we really be surprised all this is happening? It's exactly the same pattern that was happening when Tank split with Floyd. The distance was noticed. Tank was asked if he was leaving, and he spent weeks, if not months, trying to convince his fans that everything is okay between them. One moment Tank is defending their relationship, and the next, Tank is charging Floyd of being broke, chasing him out of his gym, and you know the rest. And not just Floyd. This whole situation again comes after we saw some inconsistency between Tank himself and Leonard Ellerbe.
Let me explain something to you. Tank don't look at me as coach, he look at me as dad. Do it look like his son supposed to be taking his dad? I don't even feel right. Y'all hear this sound? Tank don't pay his coach.
Tank has been a force in boxing for years, building a perfect record of 30-0 with 28 knockouts. He destroyed opponents in the super featherweight division and carried that power into the lightweight division. But despite all his success, something still seems to be missing. He's made it clear that he's not feeling fulfilled, and earlier this year he announced plans to retire in 2025. And as if that wasn't enough, he's now severed ties with two of the most important people in his boxing career. It started with Floyd Mayweather and now for the team that you could say brought him this far. Well, yes, he's talented, but ability can only take you so far when you are at this level. Davis had been with Ellerbe for a decade, a connection that began in 2015 when Davis signed with Mayweather Promotions in
like 50 rounds or something?
12 or 13 months. 12 or 13 months. Before that, we had signed him. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
At first, Ellerbe was seen as a trusted voice leading Davis through the business side of boxing, but over time cracks started to form. Things became tense when Davis split from Floyd Mayweather, and even though Ellerbe stuck around, their relationship was never the same. Rumors had been circulating for months, but boxing expert Rick Glazier confirmed the split when he wrote on X. According to several sources, Leonard Ellerbe has been fired by Tank Davis and is no longer involved with Tank. This is definitely a step in the right way for Tank. Ellerbe has a way of getting on his feet. He'll probably end up at PBC right next to Steven Espinoza, Glazier wrote, adding a laughing emoji. This was a big move.
You still get that percentage because we share that company. You know, remember that Floyd was not only getting a percentage hypothetically of PBC, right? Because that's what he makes it sound like he's part of PBC. But he's also Mayweather promotion, so he was getting a promoter's split from Tank.
Ellerbe had been by Davis's side for years, managing negotiations, handling media, and keeping things running smoothly behind the scenes. But Davis, who has been trying to take full control of his career, thought it was time for a change. And now he's down with Calvin Ford too. This one hit differently. Ford wasn't just a manager or a promoter, he was a mentor, a father figure, someone Davis once said would always be in his corner. It's just the 6 weeks ago that Tank was assuring us of their relationship, even mentioning the tattoo of Calvin on his skin, and now it seems that loyalty didn't last long with both Ellerbe and Ford up. People are starting to question what's really going on. Is Davis cutting ties with everyone who played a role in his success? First Mayweather, then Ellerbe, now Ford, who's next? Some insiders think Davis is just trying to take complete control of his jaw and his life. His recent comments suggest he's searching for something deeper. I've been living at a fast pace for so long, it's time for me to slow down and get better in other areas beyond fighting. If I can take this break, can improve as a person, as a father, as a brother, in everything, and fix myself as a whole, I should do it. I see that I could become a better person, but I haven't managed it yet. I see the person I can become, but this stops me from achieving it, Tank said.
He's not signed to Mayweather Promotions.
Okay. Gotcha.
He's not signed to Mayweather Promotions. His contract ran out,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Still
But as I always say, contracts don't define relationships.
Yeah.
But others think this might be a sign of trouble. Fighters breaking away from their teams isn't unusual, but when it happens back-to-back like this, it raises concerns. Is Davis making smart job moves, or is he pushing away the people who have helped him get to the top? It also raises questions about his connection with premier boxing champions. Essentially, Sports reported that Davis could be trying to leave the promoter altogether. His split from Ellerbe was one thing, but if he walks away from PBC too, that would be a major shakeup. For now, all eyes are on Davis. He's still undefeated, still one of the biggest stars in boxing, but he's also on his own now. Ellerbe is gone, Ford is gone, and with his 2025 retirement coming, it's unclear what his next move will be. One thing is certain, Gervonta Davis isn't afraid to make big decisions, no matter how many people they upset.
Are you retiring? Are you losing the trash? What changed? What made you trash? Garbage.
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
However, even with all this on the table, Tank is starting to feel the effect of cutting ties with Calvin Ford, and boxing insiders are beginning to say what fans have already noticed. The absence of Ford has changed everything. Just a week ago, the boxing world was split down the middle on a possible Gervonta Davis vs. Shocker Stevenson fight. It was a 50-50 matchup in most people's eyes, but after Davis's underwhelming showing against Lamont Roach Jr., the energy has totally shifted to man responsible for some of the biggest fighters in boxing. Robert Garcia thought Stevenson would now win without question. That's a wild change.
He said when he was asked about Coach Calvin, he didn't know. But then they reunited. What's your thoughts or any kind of message you could offer? Because obviously they got a relationship that's deeper than just a trainer and a fighter.
We don't know where this stuff is coming from. It wasn't no reunited. They never separated. You know.
I guess it's because of Tank's comment, because he was.
It's not just Davis either. Garcia thinks Roach Jr. himself has a good shot at beating Stevenson. And that's where things get interesting. How did Davis go from being seen as one of the most dangerous knockout artists in boxing to looking fragile enough that someone like Roach, who wasn't even considered elite before this fight, could be a real threat to Stevenson? Let's talk about it. On Saturday night in New York, Davis was supposed to make light work of Lamont Roach Jr. Most experts predicted an early knockout win, but Roach had other plans. He stood toe-to-toe with Davis, took his best shots, and kept coming forward. Not only did Roach survive, but he also pushed Davis to the edge in ways no one else had. Many people, including fans and analysts, thought Roach actually won the fight.
Hey man, that boy Roach got robbed last night. I love Tank. Shout out to Baltimore, man. A lot of friends and family out there, but I ain't never seen somebody get punched in the eye, take a knee, and that not be considered a knockdown in a boxing match. What the?
And if that wasn't divisive enough, there was an even bigger twist. Davis freely took a knee during the fight. The referee didn't count it as a knockdown, but the New York State Athletic Commission is now reviewing the incident. If they decide it was a legitimate knockdown, the majority decision draw could be overturned, officially handing Roach a win over Davis. To make things even worse for Davis, Shocker Stevenson jumped on X right after the fight and made it clear if Davis doesn't give Roach a repeat, Stevenson himself is ready to fight Roach for his WBC belt. That's confidence. Stevenson is already acting like Davis isn't even a factor anymore.
I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count.
When Robert Garcia sat down with S News, he didn't hold back. Asked about a possible Stevenson versus Davis fight, Garcia gave a response that would have been unthinkable just a week ago. You know what? I think the way the fight went, I think Shocker probably beats both of them. Garcia said with confidence. That's a serious message. Davis, once seen as a near unbeatable power puncher, just got downgraded to a fighter Garcia thought Stevenson would handle easily. And Roach Jr., who wasn't even in the conversation before this, is now suddenly a name Garcia respects enough to mention in the same breath as Stevenson.
That's what happens when you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out before stepping in the ring. To get to that 3rd gear, 4th gear that you're going to need at times, especially when you're the guy, that other guy's going to want it 10 times more.
Garcia didn't stop there. He also hinted at a possible reason behind Davis's shocking performance, his split with longtime trainer Calvin Ford. Ford wasn't in Davis's corner for the fight. Instead, Barry Hunter came in as his trainer at the time. There wasn't much talk about it, no reports of a feud, no public comments from either side. But after the fight, people started asking questions. The absence of Ford, a man who had been with Davis for years and played a key role in shaping his career, was too big to ignore. Garcia thinks something went wrong behind the scenes. He suggested that Davis's lackluster showing may have been a result of deeper problems that weren't made public. I don't know. I think he's had much better efforts. I don't know if it were personal problems. There are problems with the teacher, right? Something's going on.
Calvin, he been with me since I was 7. I used to sleep in Coach Calvin's house. I used to sleep at his job when he was working at a seafood restaurant in Baltimore.
When I had to train Tank, when I didn't want him to get in trouble and I wanted to make sure we was together,
Garcia also mentioned a viral moment after the fight. Cameras caught Ford and Davis crossing paths and Davis appeared to ignore him completely. That plus Davis's visible frustration in interviews whenever Ford's name came up has convinced people that something serious happened between them. Maybe there were problems going on, maybe didn't go as well because of problems. Garcia added that those are distractions, things that happen in boxing that give you bad performances. Maybe that's the case. I think Tank's much better than that, but I told Roach after the fight, congratulations, you did a great f***ing job. A week ago, a fight between Davis and Stevenson was seen as a true super fight. Fans debated whether Stevenson's defense would hold up against Davis's power. Now it's looking like Stevenson might be in a different league. People are openly questioning Davis's focus, his discipline, and even his mental state. He's been dealing with legal issues, training camp heat, and now to major splits. First Leonard Ellerbe and now Calvin Ford. Meanwhile, Stevenson has been training in silence, staying disciplined and waiting for the right moment to strike. And based on how quickly he jumped on the Roach Shore situation, he smells blood in the water. Davis, still undefeated on paper, but this fight raised more questions and an answer. If he gives Roach Jr. a rematch and wins convincingly, he can start rebuilding his reputation, but if he avoids the rematch, will only add to the perception that he's struggling without Ford. On top of that, Davis's team situation is still unclear. He cut ties with Ellerbe, the man who handled his career outside the ring. He's now odds with Ford, the man who built him inside the ring if he doesn't fix these issues soon things could get even worse.
I'm not even going to shit on him, but look, I want some money tonight. That's all I'm happy for. I want money tonight.
Shakur, tell us something, bro. Like, what did you think about the decision?
I ain't going to shit on him.
Okay.
We still got to see each other. He say he want to fight me, so we going to fight.
But what do you think about the decision?
I told Lamar won.
You told Lamar won.
Boxing is all about momentum. And right now Davis's momentum is going in the wrong way. If he's not careful, he could find himself watching from the wings while Stevenson and Roach Jr. take over. The truth is simple. Gervonta Davis doesn't look like the same fighter he was 6 months ago. He doesn't look like the same guy who knocked out Ryan Garcia with a body shot. He doesn't look like the same guy who had everyone convinced he was one of the most dangerous men in boxing. And the biggest change Calvin Ford isn't in his corner anymore. Was this just a bad night for Davis, or is this the beginning of his downfall? We're about to find out. What do you think happens now, though? What do you think is Tank's next move? Share your ideas below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.